I'm representing today Feels Like Home, and we're doing this podcast to influence and help the students in Northern Cyprus.
I'm Ayo. I am a software developer slash racing driver slash musician slash jack of all trades. I came to this island when I was 16, back in 2017. Building anything here as an African is extremely difficult. It's extremely difficult, but I think it's completely possible and achievable. I lost around $10,000 to a scam. It's painful to say, but I mean, it's just another minor setback. I've been through very tough situations and I've always been able to come on top, but yeah, we just keep working harder.
All right, guys.
Yeah, what's poppin'?
How you doing? How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm all good.
Yeah.
So, guys, let me first do a small intro. Don't mind me, this is my first podcast. So I'm representing today Feels Like Home. Feels Like Home company. I don't know if it's very clear, the logo behind. So we're basically a student services company based in Northern Cyprus. And we're doing this podcast to influence and help the students in Northern Cyprus to get better in life, know how to manage their finances, and a lot of interesting stories with interesting people, such as Ayo.
Yeah, I'm Ayo. I am a software developer slash racing driver slash musician slash jack of all trades. I came to this island when I was 16, back in 2017. I came over here as a student, but then it's been a long time, just decided to stay. I currently run Push Lab Growth, a software company that I started. And I also work full-time for a local software company here. And we are basically a small software studio. And we help people build software and launch them as quickly as possible. Started coding at the age of 11, yada, yada, when I was back in Nigeria, a very small village in Nigeria. And since then, went on to do some, minor things in the programming space. Gave a TEDx talk when I was 17. Went on to mentor for a bunch of Google open source programs, such as Google Coding and Google Summer of Code. And I also worked with many top organizations in the past, including open source organizations like Sugar Labs that dealt with helping kids in underserved community have access to electronic devices like computers. And I have also worked for many for-profit organizations, including one of the largest that I have ever done a project for, Excellent Audio, which was late 2022.
What an intro, bro, guys.
A packed resume. I feel like I'm just listing my resume.
And bro, guys, he did all that at 23.
Yeah, I'm currently 23, turning 24 soon. So, yeah.
What's your excuse?
I'm feeling really old already.
Yeah.
Before I used to be the young programmer. Now I'm just the programmer. Not so young anymore.
Yeah, I can see about that. I mean, you've done a lot at a young age. That's why I'm sure a lot of people should be interested in your story to basically influence their life and be able to do things at a faster pace, because we are living currently in a world that is full of action, and there's a lot trying to beat you at what you're trying to do. So speed matters.
Yeah. I completely agree with that statement. But to even start off, I would say I'm not a role model, firstly. So not everything that I say will be correct, or not everything that I say will be an assertion on how to live your lives. We're all figuring things out. I believe I am, forging my own path, and everybody else's path might not be the exact same things. But I do have a bit of experience navigating challenging circumstances. And I'd love to share anything. I'm completely open.
Perfect. So I want to ask you, now being, you're from Nigeria.
Yeah, I'm Nigerian.
You're from Nigeria. We spoke about that. So being a Nigerian living in Northern Cyprus, it is a little bit difficult to people who come from Africa in general with the circumstances you have here to be able to build a profitable business in general. So how was your beginning like?
Well, firstly, you just hit the nail on the head. Building anything here as an African is extremely difficult. That's why I technically didn't. So the way that I've structured my things in the past all the time was to incorporate like a business in another country, like the US or the UK. And there is no law against a student owning a business that is not located here. And that business that I own in the UK or the US basically provides services to other people around the world. And I'm the beneficiary of the business because I own the business, basically. So my tax obligations, according to my business, are usually in another country. So I'm here mostly as a student for most of my stay here, basically. So there is no law against doing that. But yeah, still locally, I have been exploring a lot of options locally. And I think that there is a ton of opportunities here locally as well. So for African students who are coming here to, go to school and do a business on the side, it's extremely difficult, but I think it's completely possible and achievable.
Okay, it is achievable.
Yeah, it is definitely achievable. You can make a great living for yourself here. The cost of living isn't that high. I mean, I know it's been skyrocketing for the past couple of years, but it's still not that high compared to some first world countries like the UK and the US, obviously. And if you can make a decent amount of income, the standard of living isn't that bad too, I think. It's definitely better than where I'm from in Nigeria. So it's a level up for me. So I'm very comfortable here.
I want to ask you, who is like business aside stuff? Who is Ayo as a person?
I think other people have a better and more accurate like description of me as a like person and my personality, but I think I'm just a guy. I'm just a guy. I love motorsports. I'm interested in racing. I actually competed professionally here in 2022 on the professional level with karts, and I actually did win the championship in masters category. So yeah, I'm North Cyprus champion as well. So I love karting. I love doing music. We've done a lot of music together in the past. I used to produce and engineer music, and I play a couple of different instruments. But yeah, I've kind of left that aside to focus on building my business. So yeah, as a guy, I'm just a guy, as I said.
I mean, that's a humble way to say it. But I mean, being able to like sing well, being able to rap, and by the way, guys,
auto-tune helps a lot. The cheat code.
I mean, probably, but that's still amazing. Going back to Northern Cyprus and how stuff are in here.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you more about your personal life. Like,
yeah, sure.
Right now you're in a relationship, or
yeah, I'm in a loving, happy relationship. Shout out to my girl.
Big shout out.
Yeah.
And she's a local.
Yeah, she's Cypriot. Her family is Turkish, but she's local. She's born here in Cypriot.
Okay, that's great. So I'm sure a lot of people want to know, how is it like dating a Cypriot person? Being black or being someone from Africa?
I mean, obviously, in the beginning, there's a lot of stigma, not just from the Cypriot community, but I feel like in our own community as well, there is a bit of stigma against that. But generally, when you really don't care what a lot of people think and you just genuinely care about the other person, and we've been together for 3 years now, close to 3 years, and yeah, we just really didn't care about what many other people thought. For me, the most important thing is what her family thought of me and what my family thought of her, and that she's a great person. Obviously, I have always been fascinated by Turkish culture. I've learned a lot in Turkish culture. I'm currently learning the language, focusing on it. And yeah, I love the Turkish culture, man. I love the local culture, the food. It's amazing, So yeah, I feel like it's the same as dating from any other race. It's just a bit difficult because of the outside perception. But once you're able to break through that, yeah, everything's great. It's amazing.
But it's the outside perception. It's more about like the girl, or you mean it's more on your side? Like, what I mean by that is like it's more of, because you're living in Cyprus.
Yeah.
So it's the outside perception of her dating you, right? Or you mean it other way around?
I think because we're in Cyprus, it's most on her side, like mostly on her side, because the locals, obviously, you know, it's a very archaic way of thinking, but unfortunately, a lot of people in society still currently think that. But I believe it would be the same if, for example, if I was living in Nigeria and I was dating her in Nigeria, it would be the other way around. It would be a stigma focused on, or why are you dating a light-skinned person or a person from another race? And even like currently, because in Nigeria, I don't know about Sudan, but in Nigeria, we have this thing where you can't even generally date outside your own tribe. So because we have multiple tribes in Nigeria, right, it's usually a problem for the family if you try to date outside your own tribe. So dating someone from a completely different country is like a big thing that you have to overcome in general. But yeah, my family is okay with it. They're cool with it. As I said, we are going through 3 years now. And yeah, we've had a bunch of different obstacles. But again, if you don't let them get to you and you genuinely have a productive relationship with someone that improves you, then yeah, I think you'll be good no matter what race the person is.
Okay, Ayo, I want to ask you, if you have one word to describe your childhood.
I don't think I can think of a word. I'd say difficult, but then I know people who have had it worse than me, man. So I'd say difficult, but I'll also say lucky because, yeah, I think I'd pick lucky over difficult because coming from where I came from, it's like the odds are greatly stacked against you, especially if you're going into a field like programming and you believe that you can actually make it out that way. I come from a place where, it's really bad. And if you're not going to study to become a doctor, it's like you're a failure because that's pretty much the only way that people see out of it, which I don't think it's a great way out because I have many colleagues back in secondary school or high school who ended up studying medicine. And I don't know where they'll be in the future, but for right now, they still are not... They still haven't really broken through that, barrier from where I came from. So especially venturing into the field that I ventured in, I think it's just luck. So I'm lucky because programming at the age of 11 from Bida in Nigeria is so unheard of. If my dad didn't have a computer in his office that I used to go to after school every day, that whole thing might have never happened. So yeah, I think lucky would be the word I'd use to describe my childhood.
That's really interesting, actually. The fact that you see that it's luck. It's more of, luck and positioning, right?
Yeah.
Like because, a lot of people, we're all lucky.
Yeah.
I believe that we all as humans, we are lucky to have what we have. But it's just that we don't realize what we have. We don't see our own potential. Yeah.
That's true. The only reason why I'm such at a young age, I'm at a very advanced point in my career is because I had a huge head start. So most people only get to see these things that I've seen or experience these things that I've experienced in terms of starting a career when they're in their 20s. But I saw that when I was like in my late 14s, 15s, right? So, and it's a combination of luck because, as I said, I wouldn't have gotten the skill if I wasn't positioned where life had put me in, and it's a combination of luck, also positioning, and then also just being able to, live in the hardship and understand that, I need to make a way out for myself and, take my family along with me.
Yeah, that's perfect. But your family are currently living in Nigeria?
Yeah, all of them are currently living in Nigeria.
That's great. Do you have any future plans of like maybe bringing them to Cyprus?
Yeah. My brother might be coming here. Not still 100% sure. But yeah, he just graduated secondary school. He's looking to go into university. We're currently weighing the options, but most likely I personally, if it was up to me and, if finances were all okay and everything, and I would love to bring him here and sort of like mentor him. Because he has sort of shown interest in the field that I built my career in as well. So, yeah.
A young coder. What's his name?
We're all Abdul in my family. So I'm Abdul Samad. He's Abdul Rahman.
Abdul Rahman.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, and the youngest one is Abdul Majid.
Abdul Majid.
Yeah. So it's all
right.
Abdul.
Right.
And I have a step sibling as well, Abdul Khalid.
Abdul Khalid. Well, how many are you?
Well, my direct siblings are 3. I just have 3 direct siblings. My mom passed away in 2018. So my dad he's in a polygamous relationship because, Islam. And so I have other step siblings as well. I have 3 step siblings. So in total, probably we're 7.
Mashallah.
Yeah, it's a packed family.
Yeah. That's great. Are you the eldest or like?
Yeah, I am the eldest.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing, actually.
Yeah, by a lot as well. I'm like 6 years older than my younger sister. Yeah.
Wow. So I mean, you kind of, let's say you were a little bit spoiled as a kid because you were alone there for a minute.
No, I just mean I didn't have anyone to share that hardship with. No, I'm just joking. I mean, yeah, I did have they did that intentionally. I felt like to give me some time to grow up and focus on raising me as a child first before my parents decided to bring my siblings into the world. So again, lucky. Because I had no power over that. I couldn't have chosen that.
But I mean, didn't you feel a little bit lonely? Like
I had friends because when I was younger, we used to live in like a compound where it's like other families as well who rented houses in that little compound. And I had friends growing up. I had really, really good friends that, in fact, I still speak to some of them today. So, yeah.
Well, do you know like where they are currently, or?
All of them are still in Nigeria, as far as I'm aware. Yeah, it's from where I came from, like that specific part of Nigeria. It's not a popular thing for people to actually go out. So it's very rare. I probably only know 2 other people in that whole city who left the country. But yeah, many people do leave the village, but they usually don't leave the country.
I get it. And how like did you hear about Cyprus?
So actually, I think it was a neighbor who was studying here, and his mom spoke to my dad about it, and then he was open to the idea. So actually, when I finished my my high school, I did write the SATs, and I did really well in them as well. I think in Nigeria, I was the 3rd highest scoring person in the SATs, but not too many people take the exams anyway. But it's to get admitted into American universities. And then I think I got 1460s. It was the new scoring system where they scored out of 1600s. And I got admitted into a few universities. I applied for Harvard. Unfortunately, I didn't get admitted into Harvard. But I think I got admitted into University of California, Riverside. But then the fees were extremely high. And I couldn't get a scholarship, and my family couldn't afford that. So we started seeing Cyprus as an option to do my university studies in.
So from a neighbor, basically.
Yeah, from a neighbor.
Yeah, I mean, well, shout out to the neighbor.
Yeah, I know. Shout out to that neighbor.
Yeah, sorry. That's amazing. So, I mean, you said you had friends growing up, so you came here. How was your first year here?
It was horrible.
Horrible.
Because as most students get here, like they get lied to by an agent that it's all rosy. You get a job immediately, you land here, and you start making like 30 euros per hour. I was looking forward to that, and then I got here. Even my family, right? They felt like when I got here, I'd be able to get a job quickly that's able to take care of everything, like my studies, my university, my housing, and everything. So I felt like we didn't really think it through and plan too much on the financial side, because we thought that I was going to be able to get a job locally. But yeah, I found out it was like a lot of lies from the agent. It wasn't that easy, obviously. So the first year it was difficult. I was living in the apartments in CIU. I mean, if you guys know where CIU is, I was living in the apartments. And I remember it being really cold, and I only had one jacket from LCY Kiki. It was one red jacket, and I also underestimated how cold it was going to be here, basically. And I started looking to do something, and that's when I mostly stopped working with open source organizations in programming and started focusing on actually building a freelancing career. So working for money, because the open source organizations don't really pay you. It's mostly volunteer work. So that's sort of how I got myself into it. In fact, I was like technically homeless at some point of it. And I had to like squat with a friend in the CIU apartments. I don't know if they can prosecute me for that now. But we used to like stack the cushion on the chairs on the floor because the chair was just uncomfortable to sleep on. Oh. Yeah, in the first year here. So that's how my first year here was. It wasn't that good, but thank God we made it out alive.
So it's a humble beginning.
Yeah, it is very, very humble.
Yeah, but you go somewhere, but you have to start somewhere.
Yeah, exactly.
100%. So, I mean, how were you feeling like back then? Like, do you go through any like sort of depression?
To be honest, I think no. Like, because I was so young and naive, and I was 16, by the way, like moving to the island. So I was just so hopeful for the future. And I was so confident in the skills that I had learned up to that point in my life that I could make something work, that I just always looked to tomorrow. So I wouldn't say that I was very depressed or sad. Yeah, I was sad, but I was just always hopeful and very confident in myself.
Okay. Your confidence is your backup. That's what keeps pushing you.
Exactly.
Do you believe in depression? As
a religion?
As a disease, yeah.
I'm just joking.
That's like, some people actually really take it too far with their belief in depression.
I mean, I'm not a doctor, so I can't really speak to, what clinical depression is or
it's
what
about
exactly goes on.
What you believe here. Like, do you believe in it as a clinical disease, or you see it as a state, or as a...
I think that... it's a potential, like depression is always there, right? But then you can just sort of do things, and this is just my personal belief, not scientific or anything. You can sort of just do things to mask it. For example, I have never been depressed when I had money. Like when I have money to eat, I find it hard to, get depressed. You have to really try to get depressed. So, but for me, that's one thing that makes it that way, right? When I'm having a good time with my girlfriend or with family and talking with friends, I find it very difficult to be depressed. So I believe that there are maybe external factors that can catalyze your depression and sort of like bring it out. And I believe that even if you're clinically depressed, right, ultimately, the first step to get out of it is on you. Like, even if you will need to get medication, right, you first need to get out of bed, to go to the hospital, to find a solution to what's wrong with you. So at the end of the day, the best thing to do is to try to, disassociate your actions with your mental state. So that's regardless of if you're depressed or not, just know that there are things that you need to do, right, to survive. There are a few things you need to do to thrive, and you should just do those regardless.
I really love what you said earlier, that you don't feel depressed when you have money.
Yeah, I notice, it's I'm not saying it's a causation, but it always seems to correlate. No money, depression, money, no depression.
So you see, guys, basically you're not depressed. You're just broke.
Just don't have money.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the case.
There has to be ways, tons of ways that you can actually make a lot of money in our day. We're talking about 2024 is ending.
Yeah.
By the way,
don't scam though. Like, that's not cool. Don't scam.
I swear, don't scam.
Yeah.
You even told me, you mentioned something about scam that you.
Yeah, I recently, funny enough, 2 days ago, I was the victim of a scam. Lost a ton of money. I lost around $10,000 to a scam. It's an interesting story. We can get into it, but I have a history of chastising and just bashing scammers because I absolutely hate them. Just get a job. It's like, just get a job, please. But anyways, I run an organization called Pushlap Growth, and we recently had a partnership with a much larger organization. For out of respect to them, I'm not going to mention them, but they decided to put some amount of funding into us, about $10,000 of funding. They are a crypto organization, so a very large organization in the crypto space, and they decided to fund us to build the version of our software, Pushlap Growth, on their blockchain. And the funding amount was $10,000. They sent it in a specific cryptocurrency. I wouldn't mention it because if I mention it, people will easily figure out what company it is. So they sent it over to me. I didn't really know much about crypto and wallets or whatever. I don't really dabble in the space because I believe that the crypto space is just a bunch of people trying to take advantage of each other. There is no real value there. It's just, the next person is willing to pay this amount for this coin. So they're the next idiot that will hold this coin, right? So they usually hold it, right? But there are a bunch of use cases for it on the technology side, which is why I'm building Pushlap Growth on chain, an affiliate tracking software on the blockchain, basically. I wouldn't be doing that if I don't believe that there is a specific technology use case. But for the majority of it, most people have sort of hijacked it and turned it into a speculative market. So it's a completely speculative market. And it's the same thing that's going on with AI now, which I'm sure many AI researchers and mathematicians are probably, very upset because so many money people and all these people trying to make a quick buck have come into the space and commoditized it and turned it into a completely speculative thing as well. I'm just trying to make the next quick buck. So there's technology, good technological use cases to blockchain and crypto in general. I just don't believe in investing in it because what exactly are you investing? What value are you creating? It doesn't make any sense, right? So we got the funding in crypto. I tried to change it to a stable coin, a USDT stable coin. And I called my friend for help, actually, because he got funded before. He used to run a company and he got funded by the same company. And I called him, I need your guidance and help on this. So he told me to convert it to a specific USDT coin, but he made a mistake. So basically, a scammer had made a fake USDT coin and put the same logo and everything on it and made it look like the real thing. And then immediately I converted that crypto coin into the USDT. I found out it was the fake one. And basically the value from 10K turned to $0.7. So the money was all gone, basically. It's painful to say, but it's just another minor setback. I've been through very tough situations and I've always been able to come on top. But yeah, we just keep working harder. There is nothing that can stop us. By the way, the equivalent of that would be if you had, for example, Turkish lira and you wanted to change it to dollars and you took it to an exchange shop and they gave you fake dollars.
Fake dollars.
Yeah, and there was nothing you could do about it because it's on the blockchain.
Yeah.
So,
be careful of that.
That's what happened. Be careful, guys. I wouldn't advise dabbling in crypto at all. I usually stay away from it. The only reason was because we're building something on the blockchain.
I get it. Actually, you mentioned Pushlap Growth, which is your software. Can you just in a very simple, very understandable to anybody watching right now, what does that software do?
Yeah. Okay. So if you run a business, let's say you run a business online, you probably want customers, right? And you pay to get these customers. Let's say you pay Facebook for people to see your stuff and maybe click on it and buy your stuff, basically, right? These customers that you're getting, they're not cheap. They're very expensive because other businesses are competing with you to get those customers from Facebook as well. There is an alternative type of marketing called affiliate marketing, where instead of paying to these platforms to help you find customers, you pay people who already have an access to an audience, or they already have access to people who need your service or your product, right? You tell them to bring you customers, but the trick is you don't pay them upfront. You pay them a commission. So they help you sell your product and you pay them a commission of whatever amount they're bringing in for you. So you only pay them after the sale has been made. That's what affiliate marketing is. And it's something that has been around forever. It's nothing new. It's just what PushLab Growth is that I built a software that instead of you creating that whole system that helps you to track, who brought in a customer for you, how much percentage you need to pay them. When it gets to hundreds of customers and hundreds of affiliates who are helping you get these customers, it can get extremely complicated. So what PushLab Growth was I built the software that you can just plug and play into your already existing business, and it can help you track all these things. So it can help you track which customer was brought to you, how much that customer paid, who brought that customer in, how much you need to pay the person. It does a bunch of other advanced stuff, but in the most basic form, that's basically what it does.
That's really interesting.
Yeah,
actually.
I built it because my previous business that I sold, I was paying a lot of money to another company to help me do that tracking. So I was like, I should save this amount of money per month. And I just decided to build one myself. And it turned out other people wanted it as well. So I decided to make a public product. And yeah, since then, we've been growing very quickly. We are at 600 users now. And yeah, it's been growing 4 months in.
That's amazing. I will leave you guys on the description, like a link where you can definitely go check that later.
Yeah, guys, if you run a business and you want to get customers through affiliates, well, we are not responsible for helping you find the affiliates, but we usually help you track the affiliates. So when you bring on the affiliates, you can onboard them into the platform. They will have their own dashboard where they can see which customers they refer to you, how much money they've made in commissions and stuff like that. And you will also have a dashboard where you can see how your affiliate program is performing, basically. And you can do payouts, you can set rules, all those very advanced features are present as well. So if you want to try that, we'll leave a link in the description for you guys to check it out.
Yeah, and for Feelslikehome, I'm gonna ask you, like, I want something for the people who are gonna be watching this to like get some special discount. At least if you can get them a little bit of a special discount for the people watching. And I'm sure people who are interested to like learn more about it and how they can use it to scale their business. So do you offer like some kind of like school about it, or just like a video?
We are planning to make, actually with my videographer and editor here, we are planning to make a bunch of videos in the future to, demonstrate how to use the software, how to integrate it into your business, every minute part of it. But the issue at the moment is that I'm pretty much the only programmer working on it. And it changes a lot because I'm constantly building new features. I'm constantly changing the UI, taking feedback from our already existing users. So if I started making videos on how to use the platform, those videos will be quickly outdated because the platform would have already changed in the next 2 months. So I'm trying to get the platform to a stable place where I know most things wouldn't change and we have all the features already in place and there are no bugs, nothing on it, right? Everything is already in the same place that it will be. Then we'll start making these guide videos. But as an alternative to that, we have a Discord, actually. It's close to 100 members at the moment, but we have a Discord where I'm always available to hang out. When people have questions about the product or how to use it, the specific use cases, they usually reach out to me on Discord and I'm very responsive. But for the discount, we haven't set up a code yet, but if you use Feelslikehome 50, I'll make sure I set up that discount code. You get a 50% discount on everything on the website. So all our plans, you get a 50% discount on it.
I definitely appreciate that.
Yeah.
I'm sure the people will appreciate it too, guys.
Yeah, they will appreciate it.
Yeah.
The software is already the most affordable option on the market, but you're getting a 50% discount on it. That's a no-brainer. And we also offer a lifetime plan, which is unheard of in the space. So a lifetime plan is instead of paying monthly, you pay a fee one time and you get access to the software, all our future updates and everything.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
We will, if you guys are really interested about knowing more, maybe just let me know, comment or whatever.
Yeah.
And I will see if I get a lot of engagement on that. I can do one whole episode just about that affiliate marketing program.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So let me just bring this whole conversation a little bit, like run it back, you feel me? And bring it back to the emotional side of things. Like, because, in business, what I realized, and correct me if I'm wrong, there is an emotional side on business. Like, I realized one thing I studied on people who have achieved high greatness in business, they have tests that are correlated to their business, like in the day-to-day stuff.
Sorry,
like
they have what?
Tests.
Oh,
that,
okay.
Yeah, they are, people are getting tested in other ways. Like maybe you get tested on your patience, on people, on how you treat people when you're angry, like when you're mad, because we all go through situations where, you know, we get some negative energy.
Yeah.
That energy can be transformed into some positive energy where you can use to do something. Like it's a form of energy. On the emotional side of things, like what do you think as a man, as a man, or like let's talk more about men, because I'm sure that will be our expertise, on how as a man you should build up your character, or how does that correlate to what your financial achievements going to be?
The thing is, ultimately, when you achieve a position of wealth, right, a certain type of respect from other people comes with it. But what most people do not understand, that it's not just about the wealth. It's actually about the character you build up while you were building the wealth. That's what makes people respect you. That's why scammers will never get respect, or financial frauds would never get the respect that they so desire from community. I mean, I'm sure people can kiss their asses because they, like, you know, make a lot of money or whatever, but they will ultimately never get the respect they deserve. So firstly, you get respect from your own community, the society of people around you, right? You get that respect from them. But then also, right, in terms of character, I think stoicism is extremely important. So obviously, when you are in a business meeting, or when you're just going about your business in general, right? Again, it's about dissociating your mental state, or how you feel, from the goal you're trying to achieve, or the results that you're trying to achieve, and the actions that you need to take to get there. Because ultimately, when people see that you're a weak man, it's almost certain in human nature that they will try to take advantage of you. So talking about tests, I believe like losing $10,000 2 days ago was a big test for me to see how I was going to react. But the same day, right, like it's a lot of money, obviously, and I felt really bad about it, not for myself, but because of the amount of people that depended on me. I have employees, I have, you know, family to take care of and things like that. So it was really hard to look anybody in the face and tell them. But the first thing that I did, which I think is extremely important and a lot of people wouldn't actually do, was to call up all the people that I knew were depending on me and break the news to them immediately. That was the first thing that I did. And then I went on to put it in my head that to actually overcome the situation, well, I need to go 10 times harder. So let's fucking go 10 times harder. It's not, well, I did take a nap as well, a 2-hour nap. but after that reset, you know, I got back to work, and we need to go 10 times harder.
Okay, I love that. I love that you mentioned stoicism. So stoicism, for anybody who doesn't know what stoicism is, it's basically just in a more simple form. What he's trying to say is it is doing what you have to do no matter what you feel.
Exactly.
Basically.
Being stoic. I mean, you're going to your job in the morning. You don't feel like going, but you still go. You put up a great face because that's what you need to do. So,
why? I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I want to ask you, why do you think most people fail at their businesses?
I mean, I have failed before, actually. So PushLab also wasn't my first startup, and PushLab Growth wasn't my first startup either. Actually, in 2017, I had started a couple of different startups, like a couple of different software companies with some friends, and all of them actually failed. That's why I went on to get jobs and things like that. And I think that statistically, most people will just fail. The reason is, if most people succeed, then success becomes the new failure. Because that becomes the baseline.
Success becomes the new failure.
Exactly. By nature of it, right? We live in a whatever most people like to believe. We live in a meritocracy, right? So the harder working you are, not necessarily just harder working, but the harder working you are, and the amount of leverage that you have to make things move on the other side, that's how much resources you end up getting. Of course, there are anomalies, like people who inherit their wealth, or people who do some illegal stuff to get money. But for the majority of society, right, we still live in a meritocracy, right? And what were we even talking about? Sorry, I cut this one.
Yeah, we were talking about stoicism and
Why most people
fail.
Yeah, so I think just by the nature of statistics, most people will fail. But the point is, if you stop going, then you kind of just accepted your failure. You can't lose if you just continue playing the game. I mean, you lose multiple times, but then you're still playing, right? So, I think and the thing is, when you get wins, right? When you get little wins, right? Getting bigger wins become easier the more little wins you get. So there was this book that I read by Alex Hormozi. It's $100 million leads. And at the end of that $100 million leads, he brought in an analogy of a dice, right? There are two dice, one with 5,000 faces and one with 5 million faces, right? You don't know which one you have. So you and your friend, you're playing a game of dice. You pick a random one, he picks a random one, but you don't know if you have the 5,000 faces one, if he has the 5 million faces one. You just know you have dice, right? Now, the difference between the dice is both dice all have red faces, right? But both of them also only have one green face. So now it means that statistically, the one that you would have more chances to roll a green on would be the one with 5,000 faces, because it has 4,999 red faces and only one green face. But the one with 5 million faces, it'll be almost impossible to roll a green because you have 5 million different options. But the trick to the game is that when you roll, right, when you land a green, you get 2 more greens. So more red faces, 2 red faces turn into greens. So it means that, but when you roll and you land a red, nothing happens. You can just roll again. So it means that eventually, no matter the amount of faces on your dice, if you just keep rolling, eventually wins become easier, right? Eventually you just get enough green faces that you just keep rolling greens. So if you just keep trying and you get the little wins and they stack up, bigger wins become easier.
Bro, I really love what you said there.
Yeah.
Honestly, when you were talking about how you mentioned the green faces and the red faces. I've never heard that before, by the way.
It's not mine. I'm not taking 100% credit for it. I saw it in a book, but I thought it was an incredible way to put like how life in business and just in your profession is in general.
So basically, the major reason that makes most businesses fail is that they give up.
Yeah, they give up. If your business isn't working out right, there is always a solution to a problem, right? There is always a solution to a problem. Maybe your idea isn't good enough. It's your job to find that solution. And yeah, I understand, like sometimes reality sets in, you run out of money, you have to settle down, you have kids and you need to go get a job. But then you have to come to the harsh realization as well that business might not be for everybody. Like some people, and I completely understand that, prior when I was younger, I used to think that everybody should go into business. But sometimes business is just not for everybody because it sucks for most of the time, right? It really sucks.
Okay, I mean, that's some solid advice actually to most of you guys. You need to know that you just can't give up.
Yeah.
You just really can't give up. That's amazing.
You really can't give up. And one thing that I see that's actually bothering a lot of young people these days, I'm fairly young, but younger people than me, is that most people try to, just jump to making passive income. Oh, I just want to, make some money come in while I sleep. And they're obsessed with this idea of passive income. I believe that you can't generate economic output without economic input. So it's either you are doing the work or somebody else is. Even when you're making passive income, let's say you invest in a stock of a company and it goes up. Okay, you're sleeping and the money goes up, right? So you made passive income. Well, technically, other people are doing work for the price of that company to go up. Right? Other people are doing something. It's not just magically going up. That's not how the world works. So at some point, people need to realize that the idea of completely passive income is a myth. It's either you're doing the work or you're paying other people to do the work. And secondly, you shouldn't even be focusing on, the idea of passive income when you have no leverage. When you're a young person, typically you have no leverage, right? And what I mean by leverage is usually in a financial sense, right? When you're young, you have a lot of time, not a lot of money. That's how it usually is. So how can you translate that into economic output, right? The best thing you can do is learn skills. You have time. So go out there, acquire skills, right? Acquire skills that you believe people would pay you to do, right? And I know people are allergic to the ideas of jobs, but that's how you get your start. Right. That's how almost every successful person had a job at a point in their life. It's not just a coincidence, right? It's because they had bills to pay. They needed to eat. So obviously they acquired a skill, exchanged their time for money while providing that skill. And then when you're exchanging your time for money, right, there's only two things that you can do to increase the amount of money that you make. It's either you increase the amount of value you provide, so people pay you more per hour, or you increase the amount of hours you work. So it means now you're locked in a situation where you have money coming in, but you don't have leverage. You don't have a lot of leverage to increase that amount of money because there are only two things you can do, as we just said, right? And then when you have that coming in, right, that's when you start thinking about, oh, how do I multiply this, right? How do I use this money that I'm making to pay other people to bring in more economic output for me? So that's when you start building leverage, and that's when you start going towards what most people call passive income. But as we've established, it's not really passive income. It's just other people doing the thing and you're paying them to do the thing. So most young people focus on developing your skills, focus on getting a job, getting people to pay you for that skill. Don't just jump into, oh, I want to make $1 million in crypto, because that rarely happens unless you're extremely lucky. And I wouldn't put my future up into the hands of luck only, right? I want to play a part in that. And I'm sure most of you want to do that as well.
So basically, luck comes to those who wait.
Yes, luck comes to those who wait and work.
I love how you put it. I mean, that's crazy. That's crazy advice, and it makes so much sense that it got me thinking about it.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me just divert this topic a little bit
definitely.
into something, because I realize a lot of people have issues, and I've known people who've had issues when it comes to love and how it affected their business side.
Yeah.
So what is love to you?
Again, I think trying to put it in a scientific description or definition wouldn't really do it that much justice here in terms of this context. But I have seen people who have thrown away their lives just for something that they thought was love or something like that, right? And I'm actually speaking from experience. I had a very, very, very terrible, tumultuous relationship that I would never wish on anybody. Glad I got out of it in 2021. I got out of it extremely obese and extremely broke, because I had changed my priorities in life and completely forgot what my purpose was and how I wanted to be a better person. I think love is where you feel comfortable and where you feel like you can, all the problems in the world disappear. I think love it could be someone, it could be a place, it could be, your family, or it could be your significant other. It doesn't necessarily have to be just one significant other, right? That love is. But I think for me, love is where I feel safe, comfortable, I feel heard, I feel, listened to, I don't feel judged. And yeah, I genuinely feel that I feel the same thing for this person or this place, and that person or place feels the same thing for me.
I mean, I really remember one saying I saw online, that people misunderstand love.
Yeah.
People think that you need to own the person you love, or you in order for you to love someone, that person needs to love you back too. But what that saying says is that when you love a flower, you keep it, you don't pick it up.
Yeah, exactly.
Because if you pick up the flower, it dies.
Yeah.
It dies. So what a lot of people do, I realize, they love, but it's toxic love.
Yeah, exactly.
It's very toxic.
Especially in Cyprus. It's such a small island. We see these cases all the time, of people in toxic relationships and they believe it's love. Again, it's just my opinion. I'm not a love doctor. I don't know exactly what it is. I am just, given what I feel like it is. You said something very, very great. Like if you love a flower, you keep it. You don't pick it up, right? But you also take care of it, right? You take care of the flower. You protect it. You water it, right? And the flower grows. You grow as a person as well because you learn a lot from keeping the flower. You learn a lot from taking care of the flower. And I believe that's what love is. And that's why I don't believe there can be love without productiveness, right? Being in love, right? If you're in a situation where you think you're in love and the quality or the standard of your living goes down, you're not focused on your goals, you're not in tune with the things that you want to do before you got into a relationship with that person, that's not love, in my opinion. That's just, you're taking a break from life. Like you just want things to disappear. You want responsibilities to disappear. And in most cases, those type of relationships just don't end well. It ends in resentment, usually.
Yeah, because people, I totally agree with what you said. Like they misunderstand it. As I said, they think they misunderstand also love with a huge similar feeling.
Yeah,
which is attachment.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, a lot of people get into relationships with people that they don't really love or don't even like that much. It's just that they were there.
Yeah.
I'm talking even especially guys.
Yeah,
like girls don't do that much because guys are more into the looks.
Yeah.
She doesn't have to understand him or whatever. If she's hot.
Yeah, exactly.
If she's hot,
most guys would go for it.
They will.
And I've seen situations where guys would even delude themselves to think that, oh, I'm in love with this person, but you're actually not.
He's not.
He's actually not. And they lie to everybody, but most importantly, they lie to themselves too because they believe it.
Why not?
Yeah, exactly. Why wouldn't I be in love with this person? Look how she looks.
She's hot.
Exactly, right?
And that does not make sense because, also when it comes to a woman, actually, what I realized is for you, when in a relationship, the really, really successful relationships, mostly from my own perspective, happen when the woman is genuinely in love to the guy.
Yeah.
And she's fine, of course. She has to be hot.
Yeah.
At least in his eyes.
Yeah.
The relationship usually works better because when a woman is in love with the guy, guys are more of a tunnel vision people. People. So they fall in love with what they see. That's why women put makeup and men lie.
Yeah,
guys don't lie.
Yeah, it's completely true. Obviously, the attractiveness has to be there. I have a very beautiful girlfriend. I don't know when this podcast is going to come out, but she could be fiancé by then. We don't know. She could be fiancé by then. Yeah, exactly. So I have a very beautiful girlfriend. I'm lucky, blessed to, have that. And then I personally feel the most loved when she genuinely looks up to me. She learns from me, right? She gives me comfort. She, makes me feel that she would be an amazing mother of my children. She would, help me build a really strong, solid family. And, she looks up to me. She learns a lot from me. Likewise, I also learn a lot from her, right? So, but I believe most men feel at their best when they believe they can genuinely impact their partner's life and the partner looks up to them and can learn from them as well.
Yeah, because too much is depending on the guy.
Yeah.
There's too much dependent on the guy when it comes to the relationship.
Yeah.
Whether making her safe, she needs to feel safe.
Yeah, that's true.
And feeling safe is a big word.
Yeah.
Because she can't feel safe if she feels like you're weak. So go to the gym. You need to go to the gym, build yourself up. She needs to feel safe that you can actually take care of her. You wouldn't make her go beg. You feel me? Because as a man, you have a responsibility to take care of your woman.
Yeah, and your family in general.
She can work.
Yeah,
if she wants to, but she doesn't have to work. That's what a lot of people don't understand. Or in those feminists talking like, I'm not against whatever they say.
Yeah.
That's a topic. I don't want to get too much into it right now because of the time situation.
Yeah.
But
I could just quickly say something on that. I actually do believe that, okay, women should chase careers as well if it's genuinely what makes you happy. Right? Like, so if I'm in a relationship with a girl, I wouldn't want her to be chasing a career. I would want to be in such a fortunate situation where we can afford only me work. But if she wants a career because it genuinely makes her happy, maybe that's her passion. Maybe she likes, I don't know, knitting something or maybe art or something, and that's genuinely her passion. I would love to be in a position where she doesn't even have to make a lot of money from it, but we can survive, right? And she can just follow her passion professionally. So that's my sort of view on it. I mean, obviously, when kids are involved, it's a bit different. I would love my wife to be as comfortable as possible when having kids and not have to work. But then you're completely right. A lot of it depends on the man because physically, financially, emotionally, you have to be the provider and protector unless it doesn't work 100% of the time.
100%. And ladies, the ladies misunderstand stuff. Their role is insanely important too.
Yeah.
Because she takes care of his emotions.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, he can't be stressing, especially with successful guys. A lot of ladies, they want a successful man, but they can't understand what a successful man needs.
Yeah.
You feel me? And in order for a lady to be able to like keep a successful man, what she needs to understand is that he has needs.
Yeah.
He has needs. He needs you to be supportive, to understand when he's very busy at work, because I mean, it's your choice.
Yeah.
You can choose someone who just works from 9 to 5, but as a successful man, I'm sure you work a lot.
Yeah, so you don't want to come home both tired. I get those things.
And then like go through a fight or go through unnecessary, like you're not giving me enough time.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to ask you, how many hours do you put per week?
Currently, I work around the clock. I'd say at the moment, probably closer to 80 to 90 hours per week, to be honest, because I have a full-time job, firstly. We are building a not-so-top secret project, but it's a very big project with a local company here and a large streamer on YouTube, a very famous streamer. So we're building a project for him. I put in 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. So that's 40 hours per week to doing that. And then after that, another 8 hours almost every single day, including on the weekends. As you saw, like I was just literally working before we jumped on here while we were fixing up the whole setup, literally working, writing some code. So I pretty much just work around the clock, 80, 90 hours every week at the moment. And it's been that way for this whole year. And I think for the past 7 years, it's been at least 40 to 60 hours per week. Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a hectic week.
I know, it is a hectic one, yeah.
All you need is a heart welcoming woman who's going to take care of your other needs.
Yeah.
She's going to cover up for those emotions.
That's true. And also at our age, I believe there is like a very large mismatch with the type of women. It's also on the men, right? With the type of women we go for. So you can't expect to find a woman who'd be supportive of you while you're working 80-hour weeks. You can't expect to find that type of woman in a club every weekend, right?
A baddie.
Because, yeah, exactly. If you find a baddie in a club who goes to the club every weekend and you work 80 hours per week, there's a completely mismatch of a lifestyle, right? Because now, if you get into a relationship with her and you expect her to just stay with you while you do this crazy amount of hours at your work, she wants to go to the club. Like that's where you found her. She wants you to take her to the club every weekend. So it's either she would go with you or she would just not go with you, right?
Find another guy.
Exactly. Or she'll just find another guy that she can go with. That's why I feel like I'm extremely lucky with my girl. We're both very young, but it's hard to find someone who gets it, who understands, right? I'm not saying that it hasn't caused stresses, obviously, but we talk about it. We, have these conversations. In fact, one major thing in my relationship was that I would always have to plan things ahead, like days ahead. She would have to inform me if we're going to a place or doing a thing like days ahead. And she's more of a spontaneous person. Her family is as well. They usually just want to call me, hang out with me, but it usually doesn't work because I have to put things on a schedule. So a compromise that I have made is that we have these things called spontaneous Sundays right now, where it's okay. I work every day, every week. If you want to go out with me during the weekdays or on Saturday, you have to tell me earlier, right? If we have plans, we have to plan them earlier. But on Sundays, I'll still work, but you can call me and I'll be spontaneous. Like I'll leave my work and, be spontaneous and come wherever it is. So there's a balance that's always to be had there. And it's hard to find someone who is young and has those priorities and understands that, at this age, if we want to have a good future, we can't be going to the club every weekend. We can't be going out and doing all this stuff that people our age are doing because we have different priorities. It's hard to find someone who completely understands that.
So basically, the advice is to young women. You think you're high value, stop clubbing.
Exactly.
You want to meet a high value man, you just gotta get out of there.
I'm not a high value man, by the way. I'm just a guy.
It's just on the road.
I'm just a guy on the road.
You're on the road to greatness, bro. I hope you make it, and I hope
I hope so, bro.
I believe in you, bro. Because I knew you for a couple of years now.
I appreciate it.
It's been a while.
Bro. Yeah, it's been a long time. Yeah.
We've been through a lot.
We've been through a lot as well. Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy. So to everyone out there, Cyprus is a beautiful island. I believe you can achieve your goals here. You just have to be smart about it. You have to be hardworking, and you have to stop complaining so damn much. Just get to working, right? Just get to working.
Some amazing advice that you actually give to those people. I believe that a lot of people are gonna be influenced by this.
Yeah, and I hope so.
I genuinely thank you.
Yeah, of course.
For your amazing presence, bro.
Anytime, brother.